Hey guys, welcome to Deception. In this video, we will be solving the remaining questions of ICSE 2017 Biology. Hope you like the video. If you like it, hit the thumbs up button, the subscribe button, and share it with your friends. Without further ado, let's start. Okay, we start with question number 5A. The diagram shown below is the longitudinal section of a testis of a man. Study it carefully and answer the questions that follows. So this is the particular diagram that you can see in the question paper. Now this is the diagram of the testis of a man. So let's start with the questions. Label the parts number 1, 2, 3 in the diagram. Okay, so that's easy. Let's start labeling them. The pencil was very sharp. Number 1 is scrotum. That was easy. Number 2 is sperm duct. You can also call it vas deferens. Not difference, it's deferens. And number 3 is epididymis. Epididymis. Okay, hard spellings. You know I never liked spellings in my life. So we move on to question number 2. In which part of the testis are the sperms produced? Okay, that's also easy. That's seminiferous tubule. Seminiferous, ferrous for iron, tubule. Easy question. Number 3. State the functions of the parts labeled 1 and 3 in the diagram. Now function of number 1 is, now you know number 1 is scrotum. Its function is simple. It contains the testis and also acts as a temperature control system. So I don't think I need to write that. So how does it work as a temperature control system? Now this particular place in a male's body, the temperature over here is usually 2 to 3 degrees Celsius lower than the actual body temperature. So when the conditions are hot, it drops down to cool itself, and when the conditions are cool, it goes up above in the body. So that's the function. The function of number 3, epididymis, is simple. It stores the sperm for a long time and it transports it from the testis. Question number 4. Name the cells that secrete testosterone. What is testosterone? The male gamete. Not the male gamete, the male hormone actually. So they are secreted by Leydig cells. Leydig cells, which are also called interstitial cells. Okay, now question number 5 is draw a neat label diagram of a sperm. So this is a diagram of a sperm. You can make it on your own. This is the head, this is the middle piece, and this is the tail. So for 1 mark you have to make all of these. That's a hefty task, but you have to do it and label it properly. So we move on to the next question now. Number B. Give biological reasons for the following statements. Question number 1 is, some women have facial hair like beard and mustache. Now the simple reason is the growth of adrenal cortex. Now overgrowth actually. And this particular condition is called adrenal virilism. So that's your simple biological reason. Number 2 is cutting of trees should be discouraged. Now there are many reasons for this particular statement. Well, the basic biological statement is trees produce oxygen by the means of photosynthesis, which is necessary for living beings. So cutting of trees should be discouraged. Number 3 is, in some xerophytes, leaves are modified into spines. In desert regions, in cactus plants, the leaves are modified into spines. This simply reduces the loss of water by transpiration. You have been studying this since class 6 or 7. You should know it. Number 4, there is frequent urination in winter than in summer. Okay, so the reason is, during winter, the surrounding temperature is low. So sweating does not normally occur. So to keep the body free from waste and also to control the body temperature, urination is more frequent in winter than in summer. Okay, easy to understand. Then we have number 5. The left ventricle of the heart has a thicker wall than the right ventricle. Well, the left ventricle has to pump blood all the way around the body, but the right ventricle pumps blood only to the lungs. So pressure of blood is more in the left ventricle, so it has thicker walls. Okay, we move on to question number 6 now. The diagram given below represents a section of the human heart. Answer the questions that follow. Now this is a very delicate thing. संभाल के रखना क्योंकि बहुत जल्दी टूट जाता है. Okay, so we move on to questions now. Number 1. Which parts of the heart are in diastolic phase? Give a reason to support your answer. Now in this particular figure, you can see that the ventricles are in relaxing phase. So it is in ventricular diastole. So the ventricles are in diastolic phase. My pencil is very sharp because the ventricular muscles are in a relaxing phase. Question number 2. Label the parts numbered 1 and 2 in the diagram and state what type of blood flows through them. Okay, I'll write it over here. Number 1 is pulmonary artery. And deoxygenated blood flows through it. And number 2 is pulmonary vein. Oxygenated blood flows through this. Okay, now we move on to question number 3. What causes the heard sounds lub and dup? Now lub is caused by the auricular ventricle valves which get closed sharply at the start of ventricular systole, and dup sounds because during the ventricular diastole the semilunar valve and pulmonary artery get closed sharply. So that is why it sounds dup. Now we move on to question number 4. Name the blood vessels that supply oxygenated blood to the heart muscles. That's easy. Coronary artery. Coronary artery. Now we move on to the last question. Draw neat labeled diagrams of a cross section of an artery and vein. I'll show you the diagram. Now you can see an artery on the left side and vein on the right side. The walls of artery are thick and the walls of vein are narrow. So this is your basic diagram with proper labeling. B. Give appropriate biological or technical terms for the following. Okay, again biological. Number 1, the type of immunity that exists in our body due to our genetic makeup. That's easy. That's innate immunity. INNATE, innate immunity. Then we have the suppressed allele of a gene. That's easy. That's recessive gene. Recessive allele. Third, we have the accessory gland in human males whose secretion activate the sperms. Now this is a very vague question. There are 3 accessory glands and I don't think anywhere it is given that whose secretion activates the sperms. But the most closest which gets to this answer is seminal vesicles. Okay. Number 4. The apparatus that measures the rate of water uptake in a cut shoot due to transpiration. Potometer. Number 5. The kind of twins from 2 fertilized eggs. Dizygotic twins. Number 6. A pair of corresponding chromosomes of the same shape and size, one from each parent. Easy, homologous chromosome. Number 7. The mild chemical substance which when applied on the body kills germs. Antiseptic. Number 8. The type of waste generated in hospitals and pathological laboratories. Easy, biomedical waste. Biomedical waste. Number 9. The antiseptic substance in tears. Okay, that's lysozyme. Zyme. Last one, the cellular components of blood containing hemoglobin. That's very easy. RBC, red blood cells. Okay, we move on to the last question of this biology paper. Question number 7a. In a homozygous pea plant, axial flowers A are dominant over terminal flowers small a. Now, if the plant is homozygous, axial flowers will be double capital A and terminal flowers will be double small a. Remember that. Move on to the questions now. Number 1. What is the phenotype and genotype of the F1 generations if a plant bearing pure axial flowers is crossed with a plant bearing pure terminal flowers. So basically it is asked that if we breed these two flowers, what we will get. So in the F1 generation basically, so if we breed these two flowers in F1 generation, I'm writing it over here, the genotype will simply be A, capital A and small a. That means capital A, small a, and phenotype means the external appearance will be all axial because we have a capital A. So this will dominate. We move on to question number 2. Draw a Punnett square board to show the gametes and offsprings when both the parent plants are heterozygous for axial flowers. Okay, I'll show you how to make a Punnett square now. They are heterozygous simply means that they will be resembled by this, and we have to make a Punnett square. So making a Punnett square is quite easy. We simply take one A, capital A over here, small a over here, capital A over here, a small a over here, and draw few lines. Okay, so we basically get 4 boxes. Now we will simply, what you can say, join them. We have capital A, capital A, capital A, small a, capital A, small a, and both small a. So remember one thing, you have to put the capital thing on the left side. You have to start with the capital thing and the small thing will be on the right side. That will determine what type of flower or plant it will be. So basically this is the Punnett square. And okay, I'll do the next question over here only. Question number 3. We have to state the phenotypic ratio and the genotypic ratio of the above cross shown in 2. So as you can see, the phenotypic ratio will be 3:1. What is phenotype? That means the external appearance. So we have capital A over here, capital A and capital A. So all of the 3 will be axial and this will be terminal. So phenotypic ratio is 3:1 and genotypic ratio will be 1:2:1 because we have a similar thing over here, we have 2 similar things over here and 1 recessive over here. So this is your genotypic ratio. Question number 4. State Mendel's law of dominance. Well, that's easy. You can find that in your book. I'll state it for you. Out of a pair of contrasting characters present together, only one is able to express itself and the other remains suppressed. So this is the basic Mendel's law of dominance. Number 5. Name 2 genetic disorders commonly seen in human males. Well, that's easy. We have hemophilia and color blindness. Question number B. The diagram given below is an external view of the human brain. Study the same and answer the question that follows. Now this is a thing that many people do not have and only some people have. So let's answer the questions regarding this. Number 1. Name the parts labeled A, B and C. Okay, I'll write it over here. Number A is cerebrum. Number B is cerebellum. And number C is medulla oblongata. Okay. State the main functions of the part labeled A and B. Well, the function of A is simply it enables us to think, reason out, invent, plan, memorize, and every such logical thing that we do is with the help of the cerebrum. The gray matter and the white matter is present there. And the function of B, cerebellum, helps us to maintain the balance of our body. Okay, easy. Question number 3. What are the structural and functional units of the brain? How are the parts of these units arranged in A and C? Well, there are many structural and functional units of the brain. I am stating a few for you. We have the frontal lobe, also called the prefrontal cortex. We have the parietal lobe, we have the occipital lobe, and we have pons. The first 3 are located in the cerebrum, A, and pons is located in medulla oblongata, that is C. Okay, question number 4 now. Mention the collective term for the membranes covering the brain. That is easy, meninges. And last question of this paper. What is the function of cerebrospinal fluid? Well, the function is quite easy. It provides a cushion for the brain and it also acts as a shock absorber. So this is your basic answer for this. So guys, here we come to an end of this particular video. Now we are working on many special videos for you. So stay tuned and stay subscribed. Thank you for all your love on YouTube. This is Eduception signing off.